Here's the featured video and a seamless article, flowing naturally without headings, designed specifically for YouTube readers. It examines the key developments, political strategies, and implications around redistricting as discussed by CNN's Dana Bash and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. In a high-stakes moment on CNN's State of the Union, moderator Dana Bash pressed House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on whether New York would engage in a redistricting battle reminiscent of the GOP's aggressive push in Texas. The exchange occurred against the backdrop of escalating national tension, as partisan efforts to reshape congressional maps intensify ahead of the 2026 midterms. Jeffries, with characteristic political caution, avoided committing to specific actions for New York. He firmly criticized the Texas plan, which could grant Republicans as many as 5 additional House seats through what he labeled a racial partisan gerrymander. Yet under questioning, he declined to say whether New York Democrats would mount a similar counter-effort, simply stating, "There's a plan to respond as appropriately in New York and in other parts of the country as the circumstances dictate." This marks a continuation of an increasingly adversarial posture from Democrats. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom is advancing a voter-approved legislative route to counter Texas's redistricting tactics, trying to unlock 5 new Democratic seats. Meanwhile, voices like Vice President J.D. Vance have framed the GOP's push as an effort to restore fairness in representation, citing alleged Democratic gerrymandering over the past decades. The Republican gambit in Texas sparked a fierce response. Democrats leveraged a walkout strategy, fleeing the state legislature to deny quorum and stall the redistricting vote. National party leaders like Jeffries and DNC Chair Ken Martin activated funds and coordinated strategy calls to mobilize resistance. In New York, Governor Kathy Hochul raised the stakes by openly exploring options to dismantle the Independent Redistricting Commission, historically seen as a buffer against partisan gerrymandering, and shoot for a constitutional amendment permitting mid-decade map changes. Her remarks signaled a shift from caution to confrontation. "You have to fight fire with fire," she declared, railing that the previous era of restrained fairness is over. The historical context in New York is strikingly relevant. In 2022, a legislative redrawing of congressional maps replaced by a court-appointed special master drew scrutiny. The state's highest court later ruled in favor of granting the legislature control, allowing new maps to be enacted in 2024. Jeffries emphasized that, unlike Texas, those maps were adopted through bipartisan legislative support, not racial gerrymandering. Yet the broader question remains: is New York poised to escalate its own mapping efforts, matching the intensity of Republican states? Jeffries' reluctance to say reflects the complex balancing act. Democratic leaders need to show strength and readiness without prematurely revealing tactical plans. On a strategic level, Jeffries and his allies are signaling that Democrats won't sit idle. Should GOP-led redistricting gains occur across states like Texas, Indiana, or Missouri, the party is primed to respond. But certain Democratic-leaning states, Illinois, for instance, already enjoy maps favorable to them. New York's independent commission structure also complicates swift action until its dismantling becomes legal. The stakes are existential. Future redistricting battles may well determine the outcome of the 2026 House majority, and, by extension, shape control over legislative power, funding, and national policy. Vance, openly advocating for Republican agility, has raised the bar. Trump envisions reaping a 100-seat Republican majority, a massive shift that would reshape governance. Meanwhile, Democratic leaders point to their track record. Recovering 41 seats in 2018 under Trump's presidency is evidence of their resilience. They're emphasizing substantive policy goals, healthcare reform, ethics, climate action, over map manipulation, portraying GOP moves as born of fear rather than vision. Even so, the map fight has already triggered legislative upheaval, bipartisan litigation, and political brinkmanship. Special elections, voter referendums, constitutional amendments, and courtroom battles are all on the table. From Texas to California to New York, the battle lines are drawn, and the definition of fair representation is fiercely contested. Jeffries' nuanced, noncommittal stance appears designed to keep options open while balancing rhetorical condemnation and procedural caution. It suggests a readiness to escalate, but only when and where it's strategically advantageous. As viewer and reader, you're witnessing a turning point. Redistricting isn't just a technical process, it's now a central battlefield in American democracy. Whether states like New York choose to embrace this fight could define the political landscape for years to come.